Vegas Ranger here. Welcome back to the channel. We're back in the garage, and today I'm going to be showing you how to wire up anything that you want to put on your bike. If it's a GPS, if it's auxiliary lights, heated grips. I'm going to use my GPS as an example, and I'm going to show you how I wired it up. And when I say wire it up, I'm not talking about wiring it straight to the battery. When you wire things straight to the battery, there's always going to be power from your battery that's going to your device. If you have a GPS unit and you just hooked it up straight to the battery and you forget to turn your GPS off after you turn your ignition off, your GPS is going to remain on and it's going to drain your battery. So the next time you go to power up your bike, it's going to be dead. So I'm going to show you how to wire it up. That way when you turn your ignition off, the device turns off. And when you turn it on, your device turns on. All right, we're under the seat. We got the battery right here, just for reference. Most motorcycles are the same. Okay, you're gonna have your battery under the seat, most. Also, under the seat, you're gonna find a fuse box, okay? Most fuse boxes, they're also under the seat. Now, if you see a fuse box like this is for the ignition, don't touch it. This is for supplying power to the ignition and the starter. So don't touch any of those fuses. All right, if you can see right here, this is the power line that comes from my GPS unit. However, you're gonna route your wires so it's neat on your bike. If it's underneath the fairings, if it's underneath one of the panels, or if it has to be underneath the gas tank, then you're gonna have to take those things out, run the wire, zip tie it, or use black tape so the wires are secured. You got two wires, one's black, one's red. Okay, in this instance, black is negative, red is a live wire. That's where the power runs through. The ground unit, I'm running straight to the negative side of the battery. Okay, I'm just gonna hook it straight up there. Now the power side of it, I'm running straight to the fuse box. Now the fuse box is gonna have details on what each fuse is for, okay? In this instance, the first fuse is gonna be a 10 amp fuse, and it's gonna be for the headlight high. Okay, that's going to be your control your bright lights. The second one is going to be a 10 amp fuse for my headlamp low. The third one, 10 amp fuse for the ignition, signal, fuel, fan. Be particular on which fuse you want to use, okay? I don't want to use the fuse that goes to my fan. The reason being is because when I'm riding, I don't want anything to happen where my fan goes out and my bike overheats. Okay, I definitely don't want to be using the fuse for my fuel system because I don't want that to go out, right? So pick something that's not going to affect how your bike runs, okay? So in this instance, I'm going to use the headlight low. And as you can see, I have the power wire for my GPS running straight to the fuse. What you're going to need is you're going to need some type of electrical meter, okay? It can be one of these. It can be one of those pen ones with a light. It doesn't matter, okay? I got this for like $3 at Harbor Freight. If you don't know how to work a meter, there are plenty of videos on YouTube on how to work a meter, okay? So we're just gonna come here to the direct current volts, and I'm just gonna touch it. Nothing, nothing, okay? That's how I know the ignition is powering that fuse. One of those metal clips shows power without the ignition being on, then that means it's battery powered. So let me go ahead and turn the ignition on. Hopefully you can read it right there. Okay, I'm still on the negative side of the battery. I'm going to touch one side, nothing. I'm going to touch the other side, and we got 11.3 volts, okay? So let's just call it 12. This is a 12 volt system. So I know that this side is where the power is coming from. What we're going to do here is I'm going to take the power cable that comes from my GPS unit, and I'm going to stick it on the power side of where the fuse clips into. Okay, I'm going to stick it right in there. So I got the wire being held in place by the fuse. So now the fuse is working and the wire is receiving power from the ignition. So when I turn the ignition on, my GPS is going to power up. All right, so let's come up here. We'll turn the ignition on. We got power going to our GPS. And our GPS is working. Now, when I turn the ignition off, the GPS is going to power down. This GPS just takes a few seconds to realize it's not receiving power and to power down, because it's giving you a chance to turn the external power on because the device has its own power source. And it's off. If you can see right here, I just put a notch in the cover so that I can keep the cover closed and it's not pinching my wire. So I put that notch there so that when I close the cover can still close because it's not pinching the wire. And I'm not damaging the wire. The fuse box still stays closed just in case water ever gets in there, and everything stays safe. All right, now let me show you this. This is a fuse box adapter. Just like you put the fuse in the fuse box, you're going to put the fuse right in there, and then you're going to plug this where the fuse actually goes, and it's an adapter. Then you're going to attach your power line from, let's just say my GPS. You're going to attach your power line, and you're going to crimp it into the blue sleeve so that it connects with the wire. You're going to plug it in, and you're going to have power. Now you're probably asking why I didn't use this. There's a couple reasons why. Number one is I couldn't close the lid of my fuse box because of the shape of it. And that worried me because I wanted the lid closed just in case of moisture, water, you never know. I don't want anything short-circuiting out, especially inside the fuse box. But this is a really good alternative to use if you really have no other choice. If you don't want to do it the way I did it, you can use it this way. If your fuse box can close with this on it, then you should use it. This is great to use in cars because cars have that big fuse box. You can put it in and you can close the lid. Motorcycles are a little different. It's got that small fuse box. Most bikes come with an auxiliary power port. You attach your power from, say, your GPS unit to that power port. But one thing to remember is that not every manufacturer has the same clip. Honda has their own clip, Suzuki has their own clip, Yamaha has their own clip. They don't use a universal clip.